Hello, welcome to this Photoshop tutorial, and I'm going to show you some ways to create 3D objects in Photoshop CS6. This is the extended version. So let's get started. The first way I'm going to show you is how to create a 3D object from a selection. So let's draw a selection, draw a square, create a new layer. I'll fill it with 50% grey. So just make sure it's 50% by setting your brightness to 50, and then Alt Delete to fill that with foreground color. While it's still selected, we can bring out the 3D panel, so you can get that by going Window 3D, and we can choose to create a 3D object from selected current selection. You can also do it up by this menu, so 3D, new 3D extrusion current selection, but we'll stick to the panel, and then we'll click on create. And then if we come and click on that layer one, we can name it square. You can see that it is a 3D object now. So that's how you create it from a selection. Now in CS5 you done it via Repoussé, which was under the 3D menu, so you can find it there, 3D Repoussé, and then choose the option you want. But for CS6 you do it this way. Now we'll create it with a path, so we'll create a path. I'm going to create a shape layer, do another square, and again because it's a shape layer, it's automatically filled itself with 50% grey. The option to choose a shape layer is up here. You can also have path and pixels. We'll leave it on shape layer. This time in our 3D panel we're going to choose work path. Make sure the radial button is checked for 3D extrusion. That applies to the selection as well. I didn't mention that, so I'll mention it now. And then we'll choose create. Come down to this rectangle, and again you can see that it's a 3D object. Okay, the next one is text. For text we want to leave it on selected layers, 3D extrusion again, and we click on create, click on Photoshop there or there, and again that is a 3D object. Now the next one I want to show you, we have to create a file for first. So file, new, and we'll just create a shape, a circle. Now I'm going to turn this into a 3D layer, so I'm going to go work path, create, there you can see it's a 3D object. I'm going to come up to 3D, I'm going to do export 3D layer, and I'll just call this circle, and we'll save it as, we'll leave it as Collada DAE file format, and I'm going to save it to the desktop. Save, leave it these settings as is, click OK, remove that, and now we can come to file, new, OK, and then we'll go choose file from the 3D layers panel, we'll do create, we choose our 3D file, in this case it's the circle.dae, and we click open, and it will open that file into our new document. So there's four ways of creating, well, three ways of creating a 3D object, and one way of creating, saving, and then bringing it back into a document. Like I said before, previous to CS6, this was actually done in Repoussé, and all we're really doing is extruding an object or a text layer or a selection or a path to make it 3D, so it then has depth. That's all I want to show you for this tutorial. I'll cover more of the new 3D options and some of the old 3D options in Photoshop in my following tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.